Hi, and welcome to this week's video. This week's been quite interesting and it inspired me or moved me to talk about quite specifically how to get out of a bad place when you don't feel motivated, when you don't feel like you want to, do anything or contribute or whatever, however you want to put it. And because I've had a couple of times like this week, it hasn't been just rock and roll all the time. I've spoken about that in a previous video. Go check that out if you're interested. How we should cherish or salvage, no matter where we are, or on the bottom, on the rise, or on top. This is something I've been talking about in a previous video. But this week has been a little bit different, so I had to motivate myself and find ways to move myself, to contribute, to do the good things that I enjoy doing and I like doing. But I felt a little bit down. I didn't feel like 110% just going out there and woo and going rock and roll. So there are three things that I'd like to share with you that serve me very well when I don't feel motivated, or when I don't feel like going out and crushing it like I used to do, or I usually do. And the first thing is, and I find it very, very important, is that we talk with people. Because even when we don't feel 110% ourselves, we can always share. And when we share our experiences and our way of being in a given moment, that can trigger other people to share their own experiences. And then that helps us to see that we're not alone and that everybody experiences this. And I think it's so important that we share where we are. And I'm the kind of person that if I'm sitting with somebody, I'm not feeling 110%, I would authentically usually share with, I don't feel 110%. What do you think about this? How do you feel about this? Have you ever felt like this? Or have you experienced this thing before? And when people start to share their experiences, you can usually learn a lot from that, and you see that you are not alone. That there are many, many, many people, or practically everybody's like that, at least, at some periods in their life, that can share the same emotions or the same feelings or the same story as you do. And that will encourage you to move onward. The second thing is that what we usually do is we keep the busy schedule going on. But if you think about it, you can't contribute your best when you don't feel your best. So it's very important that we understand, I don't feel my best at the moment. I should narrow down my schedule. I should cut out a couple of things that are not so mandatory and move them to the next day or to the next week. Because if I can't contribute my best, then I won't succeed as much and my time will go to waste anyway. So it's important that we adjust our schedule. I'm pretty sure everyone can do that. Even if you have a job that you have to be there for 8 hours and sit through it and do your thing, you have the whole afternoon that you can reschedule or find some place or time for yourself to rethink things and to go a little bit inside and relax and calm down and find the proper place to grow out from again. And that's the second thing. And the third thing that I think it's important that we do when we find ourselves in a little bit of a hand-braking or not so motivated, is that we rethink our routines, or not rethink them, or that we keep the routines that we're doing that are serving us, that are good for us, going. For example, when I'm on the top, I usually listen to the motivational speeches. I read good books. I am around, good people who inspire you, and go for a walk or things like that. It's so important because these things, when you're on top or when you're progressing, are good triggers, are practically the best triggers as far as I'm concerned for when I feel a little bit down. And one more thing that I would like to add to this is that we keep the big vision that we have for our life in front of our eyes. Because if we start thinking about what we want to achieve or what's out there for us to get, it usually grounds us and it shows us, okay, it's a big thing, you need to cut it down small pieces, and there will be ups and there will be downs. So it's important that we keep on our routines that we've been having or practicing, because they're going to be amazingly good triggers for when we need to get out of the break place, or when we don't feel motivated. And those are the three things that I think are super important or at least for me, they work very well. First off, as I've mentioned last, is that I keep on good routines because they're very good trigger for me to get back on track and to get motivated and to keep my vision, in my head, and remind myself of, okay, why am I doing all these things? Or why am I meeting people? Why am I doing content, or whatever it is that you're doing? If you have the big picture, it's gonna be easy. The second thing is the schedule that you are on needs to get narrowed down. You need to cut out the things that are not so important or that you can postpone. That's so important as well. And the third thing is that you talk with people. It's so important. If you are not a talkative person, write it down. It also helps. So if you're introverted, if you're not extroverted like me, when I like to talk and I share, write it down. This will always help. So when we get things out, our emotions out, and we share them, we usually get good feedback. And these are the three things that help me the most when I don't feel so motivated, or when I feel a little bit stuck in where I'm at the given moment. So I hope these three things, or these three ideas of mine, serve you, and I'll see you next week.